Donnie, Jan, thank you so much for inviting me into your home to have the chance to talk with you about your journey with ALS. How have you dealt with issues related to ALS progression that a lot of us just would prefer not to think about? How have you dealt with it psychologically?
I would rather know about things so I can plan and I have time to research and figure out how I'm going to deal with it.
Once I learned what was going on, that I had ALS,
It was almost
at that
a
point,
relief.
we really wanted to know everything we could know.
Yeah.
It
was actually harder
sucked.
not knowing what was going wrong. And once we had the diagnosis, it was like, okay, now at least we know what we're dealing with. We know there's support groups. We know there's an ALS association.
We went out and found out about the ALS Association on our own. Mm-hmm. We found out when their meeting was, and we just showed up in December. And it was their Christmas party, so it was...
But we had clinic in January, and it was like, here's this whole team of people that we know we're going to be going through this terrible thing, but we've got these people that are going to be there to support us, and they're going to give us help, they're going to give us strategies, so it's...
Well, you meet all kinds of people that are in all stages, too.
Yeah.
So like you saying, you meeting us helps you to understand what you have to look forward to. It helped us to understand. It didn't really scare me that much. It made me say, okay, if these people are dealing with it and are out here at this meeting, at this Christmas party, then I can do it.
Yeah, we were actually joking later about how we were so surprised because we kind of expected to walk into a pretty glum Christmas party. And it was anything but. Everybody was just having a really good time and they were enjoying each other, and we were just kind of like, okay, well, they've been at this a lot longer than we have and they're still laughing, so this is doable. Yeah. And it was really hard at first. And at first when you're diagnosed, it's overwhelming, it's awful. And
there's so much information out there, but
and you feel
in
like
a
you have
bad
to make
way,
these
but also
big
that's
decisions.
a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for us, just knowing that there were people to help and that no matter what we did, there was, we didn't have to make it a miserable experience. We could choose to basically attack this in a way that kind of on our own terms. And so that was what was important to us. And we joke, we're all going to die somehow. We just happen to know how he's most likely to die. We don't know when he's going to die. And I tease him all the time, assuming you go first, because I don't know that won't happen. So, why not just enjoy what we've got? And we've even talked about living with this is like, it really opens you up to being grateful for what you do have. Yeah. And not so concerned with what you don't have.
I look at the dealing with the disease probably more on a technical basis than an emotional basis. So, it's like, okay, I got a machine, it works this way. This helps me breathe, I feel better. Okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to be adjusted in the chair to be comfortable? Do I need new cushions that have air in them? That type of thing. So I don't get too emotional about the things that are happening to me as much as I really look at it. And Jan too, for the most part.
I'm the emotional one.
on a very problem-solving kind of a thing. This is what we need to do and how do we do it. Initially, Jan and I went into this and these groups, and we were the newbies. We were learning. We were asking the questions. Now we feel like we're the old fogies that go in and share with everybody else what we've learned. I think that's what it's all about.
I think for every ALS patient, it's really up to them to decide. We've used the phrase line in the sand. What's their line in the sand? What to them really means quality of life? And for Donnie, it means being able to engage with people socially for a big significant part of that. So as long as he, wants to do that and feels good about doing it, we're going to use every tool we can to keep that going.
That's true. There is, everybody has their line in the sand, and
We've seen a lot of different lines. Some that we
Right.
were like, really? That was all it took? And you're out of here? And others that it's like, wow, these people have gone so far that. And I think a huge consideration too is we see people who get trached who we on the forums in particular, more than in support groups, because there haven't been that many people in the support groups that have gotten trached. But online in the forums that we're in, we see the gamut from people who have gotten it, they're miserable with it, they hate it, they regret it, they are having one issue after another, and they wish they'd never done it, to people that have got it and it's not been a problem, they've adapted to it and they're doing great. And we've seen people that are in care facilities, to people that are home with a group of nurses or hospice, to people that are just home like we are right now, with just one person taking care of them primarily. And we see it working and not working in all of those scenarios. So it really comes down to each person with ALS and who they have helping them, and how it works for them. And some of it's unpredictable. We know that Donnie may get trached and it may not work out for him. There could be all kinds of things that could come up. He could get infections. He could hit a point where it's just, his attitude is it's going to work. But we don't know. So we're just going to take those steps as they come to us and do our best with each one.
Well, it sounds like when we're talking about each person having to figure out where the line in the sand is, that gets us back to planning again and discussion, making sure that these are topics of conversation early and often.
Yeah.
And I like the sand metaphor too, because sand can be erased and redrawn.
That's true, it can.
These are not irreversible decisions
They
in
aren't,
most
no.
cases. You can reconsider, but you got to think about them.
and we see people in the support groups that are making those changes all the time.
This has been extremely useful for me to learn about all this, and also really inspirational to hear how you two are handling the decisions and the choices that you've got. Thank you so much for the time you've spent with me.